After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self.
Sound art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it sound art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
Las Vegas. It's Sin City, a jewel of the desert, a Nevadan oasis. It's where you usually go when you don't want to remember why you're going, or it's where you go for some darn good racing. And tonight we do the latter of the two, bringing the Superior Class Auto Racing Cup Series to be seated at the table, and this 1.5 mile speedway is the dealer. Welcome race fans to PitStop TV. As usual, we are live, there we go, on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter tonight. I've got Emerson Arden with me in the booth, Trey Shuttlesworth on social media. I am Andrew Cardinale IV, and this is PitStop TV's live coverage of the fourth round of the Superior Class Auto Racing Cup Series, live from the virtual Las Vegas Motor Speedway in Las Vegas, Nevada, for 200 miles in the Sin City. And Emerson, we've seen a wild weekend of racing already. If you've watched any of the NASCAR or IMSA action out at Charlotte Motor Speedway, we're adding to that weekend of racing, hopefully capping it off for many of you this evening at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, another SMI facility. This place is lit up, the sun has gone down, and as usual, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Yeah, I mean, what a phenomenal week of action. I think you were at the Roval too to enjoy some Xfinity Series and some IMSA action. The F1 Grand Prix this morning was epic. And the Cup race was just a very good road course race. Amazing action all the way around, but let's get to some NASCAR roots, mile-and-a-half racing, oval racing, and let's have some fun tonight.
Yeah, that was a wild race yesterday. I'm still, I think, soaking wet from that Xfinity race, sitting in the torrential downpour. It was difficult for drivers to drive in, and even more difficult for us fans to sit in. But you know what? We wanted to see some darn good racing. We didn't get to see the May races at Charlotte Motor Speedway, so we had to go sit out there and just wait through the rain. We were treated all in the end with a wonderful IMSA race as well. It wasn't necessarily as exciting, but it was great to see the racecraft on hand. I think we're going to see both the excitement factor and the racecraft factor on hand this evening at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We've already talked to some of these guys in weeks prior, thinking about Vegas, what it's going to be like, and the general consensus is that it's going to be a bit like a different Talladega or Daytona International Speedway, rather, where you're really just mostly flat out through most of the lap, and you're just playing draft battles, trying to win a draft battle all race long. It's going to be the talk of the town, I think, for sure. Just trying to use the draft to your advantage to best the rest, as we've got almost 20 cars. Actually, yeah, 20 cars signed up. We'll see if all 20 make it to the racetrack. So far, 19 have turned a practice time here at Emerson. Let's get right into point standings, because it's a very interesting points battle. Not so much for P1, Chris Mathis, who has been, the talk of the town all 3 weeks so far. Daytona, Atlanta, and Indianapolis. There we go. But has somehow only won one of those three races. David Bradford winning in Atlanta, Cole Ansley winning at Daytona. Cole Ansley is right now tied up with Scott Warren. That is for fourth position, Emerson. Then there's two other ties in the top 10. One of those right behind those two.
Yeah, Bobby Hamilton Jr. and Thomas McMullen about tied 38 points back of that 145. So quick math, that's 107 points for both of those drivers. And Hayes Booth, Tommy D'Angelo also, they were almost tied. Good thing I have glasses on. Almost caught that. But 1 point separates that battle for 7. That is going to be interesting to see if there's like any inner rivalry tonight. And Jeff Napier also actually tied with D'Angelo, and Will Jones back at 53 points behind.
Yes, very happy to see Will Jones back in the field. He's been unsure about his participation the rest of this season. He doesn't know when he'll be here, when he won't, but he is here for the third straight week at Las Vegas, and he will, I'm sure, continue his climb further and further and further into that top 10. I wouldn't be surprised if he hops up above those three right in front of him, because Hayes Booth, Tommy D'Angelo, Jeff Napier, while they have their moments, while they are quick, they just aren't up there contending for wins like Will Jones is right now, and Will Jones is definitely one of the better cars in the field. I have not noticed if we've had any issues with Will Jones' equipment this evening. Hopefully not, as actually he is number 1 on the practice charts. Definitely a very fast number 56 underneath him this evening, and we're going to look to see if that 56 car can continue on his tear, or if we have newcomer Hayes Booth, at least newcomer to the battle. He's been here all 3 races so far, but newcomer to the battle, kind of knows his way in there. He's trying to get up there in points, as well as Chris Mathis, who won last time out at Indianapolis, and a very interesting battle to the finish with David Bradford, where David Bradford in the end was spun around in turns 1 and 2, and after a very great battle with them as well at Atlanta Motor Speedway, where Bradford was the eventual winner, and Mathis, of course, just got taken out in a couple of incidents at Daytona. We've had 3 great weeks of racing over, well, 3 great races, I suppose, over 5 weekends so far. No, it'd be over 4. My bad. This is the 5th one. There we go. We're getting on track at some point or another. It looks like we've tick the clock back a little bit, and we actually have some sunlight back on the racetrack, or I guess back in the atmosphere. I think we'll get that sorted out next week so we don't just reverse in time. But hey, it means we get a little more daylight, and we get to see this transition all over again, Emerson, and it is a beautiful one here at Las Vegas.
Yeah, iRacing puts in a lot of work with these day-to-night transitions and just making the sim look beautiful, and boy, it does. And yeah, I don't know if this is breaking the fourth wall a little bit, but the sun is set at ×2, so we should see the sunset come twice as fast than normally would.
Yeah, that means these drivers have to keep up with the track changing here in the early goings. And then as the evening goes on, it should kind of come to them, and the track will just cool down. We're watching Hayes Booth get up to speed out of turn number 4, come to take his first qualifying lap at speed. And we'll see in about 27 seconds or so about how fast he clocks in. Many, many cars on the racetrack. Bobby Hamilton Jr. out there as well. He's in the 0-bar candy bar, number 25 Ford Mustang. One of our proud sponsors of the Superior Class Auto Racing Cup Series. Also want to thank, of course, Dr. Pepper, 7-Up, Waffle House, First Horizon Bank, Whoppers. Did I miss anybody? I think I got everybody right there. Just a clean sweep. So we're off to a good start, I think. Bobby Hamilton Jr. goes third quickest so far. Vincent Short, how about this? We've seen 3 miserable races for the 015, but up to P1 that first lap out. And then he gets beat by John Boherquez. Now Alan DeFries goes even faster. Let's see how Cole Ainsley does. He's coming out of turn 4 here momentarily.
Yeah, I'm noticing a lot of these drivers are running higher up the track on the first lap. I don't know if this attributes more to the fact that they think this is a little bit more Talladega and you can go wide open in these Cup cars.
It absolutely is. Yes. Yes.
Well, I was going to say, in my experience here, the cars are very, very loose on cold tires, as most cars are. But, I mean, exceptionally loose here. And the setup is loose the entire stint on tires. Like, it is wicked loose. So it's going to be fun to see if they're running default setups. That'll be fun.
On board with Jeff Napier, he's sideways on the apron down there. That's something these guys will often do, is go down onto the apron down the front stretch, but you have to be very, very careful because, as you were mentioning, Emerson, these cars have gotten very, very loose in recent iRacing seasons, and there's 4 seasons to a year, basically just 3 months at a time, so let's put the year into quarters. But in each season, you know, the setups are just a little bit different. There might be some tweak with the car. The tire model, very common thing to be brought up, I guess, now with these Cup cars and every car on the iRacing service at this point. It all changes the way these cars handle each and every build, and so you're constantly having to battle an evolving race car, where usually in NASCAR, these guys have the same car, the same kind of handling throughout the year. They at least have the same mechanisms that they have to deal with. It's just a matter of trying to get those to work differently for their advantage. So that's something unique, I think, to iRacing, of course, where that's always changing, and really just sim racing in general, because there's always updates getting rolled out, especially to iRacing.com's software. Thomas McMullen goes up to 7th. We see him crossing the line going into turn 1 now. Fred Strawitch is on the racetrack. Will Hewitt as well. We'll see how Will Hewitt does in his qualifying run. But yeah, these guys are definitely going up the racetrack their first lap and trying to maximize the distance that they roll. Looks like Will Hewitt's not going to do that here on his first lap, so that might be the difference right here. We'll see how Hewitt does, but just like Daytona, Talladega, Emerson, they're trying to maximize the distance that they roll and you know, get the motor spun up and just trying to get that little bit of extra momentum, a little bit of extra speed out of all 8 cylinders and try to hit the line a little bit faster, just be that little bit faster, because every tenth is going to make a difference.
Most definitely. It's at these 1.5 miles. I mean, look at the interval between each of these drivers, and you have about a 10th between the top 2, and then from then on it is so tight between 2nd and 10th.
on board here with Hewitt as he goes down the back stretch. Strawitch and Warren also on the racetrack right now. And I did a little messing around with Vegas this week of, just trying to get our cameras sorted out. But that was in the ARCA car. I actually didn't turn any laps here in this Cup car. The ARCA car, oh my gosh, it's loose. I could totally believe that these Cup cars are feeling about the same way right now. It's very interesting because this place was so grippy for so long, but it's so ice, slippy, slidey, whatever, slippery, there we go. Whatever adjective you want to throw at it, because it's just such a loose racetrack these days. I'm not really sure what changed with Las Vegas Motor Speedway, but one thing that's always changing when we enter the sim is the weather, and it's rather cool, actually. 67 degrees here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Bit of an interesting wind, actually. It was up around 10, almost 11 miles an hour, and that is, I think, pretty accurate to Las Vegas. Having spent some time there myself and in the area for many years, it's definitely accurate where you get those winds. Coming out to the East Coast, man, there's nothing like it. Nothing like it out here like those West Coast winds. But we do have a race to get to. Enough about winds. We have 134 laps on tap. Go ahead and run us down through the starting grid.
Well, we have in row number 1, how about Will Jones, and to his outside we'll have Scott Warren. Row number 2 we'll have Justin Napier and Hayes Booth. Row 3 we'll have Vincent Short and David Bradford. We'll fall back to row number 4. We'll find Bobby Hamilton Jr. and Thomas McMullen. Row number 5 we'll have Jason Spear and Fred Strawitch.
Rolling off in number 11. Number 71 is Alan DeFries. The number 86 Chevrolet Camaro starts in 12th position. That's Cole Ainsley. Starting in 13th in the number 40 Toyota Camry, it's Jeff Napier. He's got John Boherquez, the number 32 Ford Mustang, to his outside. In the inside of row number 8, Steve Murdoch in the number 53 car. Mickey Spears starts to his outside in the 16th position. Starting 17th, it's Will Hewitt in that Chevrolet Camaro. Chris Mathis does not qualify because guess what, Emerson? When you win a race in this series, you've got to start from the rear of the next race, trying to promote a little bit of parity. So that's going to put Chris Mathis in the number 18, in position 18 to start this race. And Mark Truxell will officially start 5th. I think that's going to, 19th in the number 5. I think that's going to change a little bit. I think Mathis will take 20th from Ian Spear, move Ian Spear up to the 18th position. Regardless, we've got 20 cars on deck this evening. It's going to be a fun one. Can't wait to see how these guys do on their second mile and a half of the season. The first race where we're going in tonight, going under the lights, and of course, as Larry Mack says, the nighttime is the right time.
Yes, sir. The sun goes down, and lap times, the speeds, they go right on up. And it's going to be interesting as they come through 1 and 2 on their formation lap, their pace lap. Will Jones, he's going to have the glory of starting on that inside lane. And, the inside, it can produce wheel spin, but that's not really too much of an issue on new tires, maybe cold tires possibly, but we'll see when they come off of turn 4 what the breakdown is.
Tires are definitely the talk of the town. I believe we've got 5 extra sets for these drivers over the course of 134 laps. We'll see how that will affect the race this evening. We, of course, have 2 stages as well, ending at laps 40 and 80. Will Jones, the pole sitter, rolling into turn number 4 and out of turn number 4, actually, as we get ready to get this show on the road from Las Vegas Motor Speedway, from Sin City, Nevada. It's Will Jones, Scott Warren, your front row. Is a Superior Class Auto Racing Cup Series taking the green flag at Las Vegas. One checkup on the bottom. Looks like that driver's already blinked out. We will keep racing them off into turn number 1. 2 abreast of the entire field. Will Jones, Scott Warren battle it out up front.
Yeah, Scott Warren got an amazing start. He was side by side with Will Jones all the way into turn 1, but as you know, when these cars get up to speed, the inside lane is the best line until all those horses are running. But to the inside comes Scott Warren trying to take the race lead. He had it for a brief moment entering turn 1. And how about the 2 of Hayes Booth? He wants to get under this 56 as well.
Scott Warren leads lap 1. It was a dead heat between Hayes Booth and Will Jones across the stripe. They come in at 2nd and 3rd place. Justin Napier, how about that? He gets his internet situation sorted out. He's in P4 to start this race off. Bobby Hamilton Jr. fighting behind. He's got Thomas McMullen and David Bradford and more with him. In fact, I think that's Cole Ainsley battling it out in 8th position. Jason Spear, Chris Mathis already up into the top 10. How about the number 18 car of Mathis?
Yeah, Mathis is flying. I mean, I like the, I guess, forcing the last race winner to start from the back. I mean, that would be insane if they did that like in F1, how they thought about reverse grid races throughout this season and all. So I really like that little flavor to the league. It's going to make this first stage interesting for Mathis, but he's wasting no time as he's already up to 9th.
Making quick work of the field as they come out of turn number 4 for the third time at speed this evening as a whole field. You see Ainsley down on the bottom side. He's trying to pass McMullen down there. He gets that pass made over Thomas McMullen, but a crossover into turn 1. The 0-2 dives down to the bottom side. He's not going to find a Whataburger out here because In-N-Out reigns supreme, and he drops down onto the apron. I'm sure you'll disagree with me about that, Emerson, but that was a heck of a save. I think you can agree on that part.
100%. Agree on the save. We'll keep it to racing here. But the lead has changed hands. Will Jones back up front by a hair at the start finish. So they still go side by side up front.
Side by side for the race lead. It's only lap 5 of 134, but they're racing like it's 135. I know that's out. I think that's part of the joke there. But Scott Warren, he's in P1, and that 76 looks good. He was real good a few weeks back at Daytona International Speedway, but just hasn't quite shown the same pace. But at the track that a lot of these drivers are saying is going to race like a smaller Daytona, he's already out to P1, and he's starting to build himself a lead over Will Jones, using that draft, getting down to the bottom side to minimize the effects of the draft for the cars behind him. Will Jones, he's got to get out of that dirty air, though. He wants to be in that dirty air down the straightaway and use that less air resistance to drive up to Scott Warren. But he's got to get out of it for the corners, otherwise he's going to push that front end. We're already seeing that be a problem for these guys. If you follow right in behind somebody, you have no front downforce.
Yeah, and another thing, you'll see these drivers, they almost don't want, like, they don't want to move out the middle lane because that is the preferred lane. You see the inside lane really kills the tires over a long run. But, of course, the air, it really tightens these cars up on exit, or worse, it snaps them loose right on exit out of nowhere.
Great battles going on right now, and oh my gosh, this number 18 car, Chris Mathis, already up at a P3. He's already onto the bottom step of the podium. He gets on by Hayes Booth and definitely making quick work of this field. He goes from the very back up into the top 3 in just 7 laps, and he is starting to race these guys out like he wants to win 2 times in a row. I mean, wouldn't you? But he gets up to P3 ahead of Hayes Booth, and it's something behind that. They're 2 wide, battling with David Bradford, Justin Napier, Cole Ainsley in there. We got Bobby Hamilton Jr. hanging on to the back end of this battle as Chris Mathis rolls up on Will Jones. These guys battled it out the last 2 weeks in a row. The 56, I think, has been one of the only thorns in the side for Chris Mathis because the 18 car has been so good. But the 56, the 46 have been great as well, and that's just held this 18 car back, I think, primarily, again, at Atlanta, where the 18 didn't win, even though he led, I believe, onto the white flag lap. Just David Bradford made easy work of him out of turn number 4 to win that one.
Yeah, I mean, if we look back last week at Las Vegas, there was 4 different players up there. It was absolutely insane. Ultimately, it was It was Mathis, I believe, and they go side by side into one, actually. He's looking to the outside of that 56.
Will Jones almost looked like he wanted to go down to the bottom side of Scott Warren. Instead, he falls in behind the 76 car. Now, he'll dip down onto the bottom side, make it side by side for the race lead once more. Chris Mathis trying to figure out what he can do about this. I think he really can't do anything. You don't want to shove it 3 wide this early. It's only lap 10 coming to 11. But we see the other usual player in this game of who's going to lead the Superior Class Auto Racing Cup Series. Joining this top 5 battle now, David Bradford into P5.
Yeah, I mean, it is absolutely insane what's going on up here. They were 3 wide, also favored back for 6 with Bobby Hamilton, Justin Napier. I can't remember the 3rd car in that, but double wide up front once again. Will Jones trying to get that inside to roll. Chris Mathis is just rolling with the 76. He understands the middle line is the line to ride right now. He continues to push that 76 into 1. It looks like Will Jones could almost get freight train, kind of like what you would see at a plate track. But here comes the 2 of Hayes Booth to come down, maybe get a little draft, and now work his way down the back straight, trying to get a run into 3.
And what we have to keep in mind is, as exciting as these battles are, they're roasting their right fronts right now. And once they start to roast their right fronts, they're going to roast their right rear. They're going to start driving real sideways on the right rear tire. Will Jones barely beats Scott Warren to the line to lead that lap. So a change for the race lead officially, but really it's still anyone's lead right now between those. I think top 3 is almost contact between those top 2. Mathis sideways in front of Booth, saves it. Booth keeps it off of him, and they'll keep racing while switching positions up just a little bit. And man, this is some great stuff. I think this really is pressing your luck, and that's a gambling pun, of course, but I think it fits because it's a matter of how sideways you want to get, and if you can actually hold it that sideways. As we have another drag race to the line, I think Will Jones might have won that one. Really, really tough to tell.
You know, many people have their ups and downs about this aero package with the high downforce, but man, look at the racing it does produce on these 1.5 miles. It is like a plate track, of course, with the lower horsepower, but you just can't break away from one another, and it's definitely a good product for the fans.
Well, you know what? I think it works best in iRacing. I think with the way they trim their cars out and such and change the setups in real life, I'm not so sure that we get this same kind of racing. We have flashes of this kind of racing for a few laps, but in iRacing, where everything is the same, it's just sustained lap after lap after lap because it is the same. It's like iRock racing back in the late 90s, early 2000s, where everything was just the same, and they just had these big draft battles on ovals. Chris Mathis, I think, a bit out of shape there out of 4, and they were all kind of jockeying around in that big gaggle from 4th on back, really 3rd on back. Really, the top 2 are the only 2 that have kind of settled things out right now as Scott Warren leads. Mathis all the way up to the racetrack right now, almost up to that very top groove. It's not one you usually see run here at Vegas because, of course, you want to run the bottom side through that. Pretty much, it's just a kink. It's like the Daytona kink in the road course. You just want to get right down to the bottom side, apex that one off.
Yeah, and I've noticed now a lot of drivers are coming off that bottom lane. I don't know if it's because they cooked that right front tire or they want to prevent themselves from cooking that right front tire. But either way, Will Jones, he still wants to fight Scott Warren up there, but he really dreads going to that inside lane. He knows the consequences of it later if he keeps it down there. But, he feels he's faster within the 76. But that could also be a byproduct of the slipstream.
Everything a byproduct of the slipstream, the draft. Oh, it's Scott Warren! Maybe not everything, because he just hit the wall all on his own, and he just got tight. Again, that right front's going to wear off, and you're going to get tight, and then you're going to get loose. And that's what happened here for Scott Warren. He's got cars coming up behind him. He's in the middle of the racetrack. Oh, my gosh, McMullen. What a save to get on by the 76 car. He just came up off the apron and was in the middle of the racetrack. That was insane.
What a great heads-up move by those guys to split that 76. Good on Scott Warren. Maybe he didn't realize how quickly they were coming up, but when he saw that, he held it straight and allowed them to find their way around him. Very unfortunate from the lead. That just hands the lead to Will Jones, and Chris Mathis now in prime position to do that.
Yeah, Mathis wants to get away from these guys behind him and get out to that tandem that Jones and Warren had. Now with Warren out of the mix, it's really just Will Jones up there all on his lonesome. But I think he likes it that way for sure. Cole Ainsley battling side by side with Hayes Booth. And how fitting would it be? Oh, I was going to say, how fitting would it be for Cole Ainsley to get another win this season here at the Little Daytona, as I think we're going to start calling it, because these guys have been calling it a Little Daytona all these last couple of weeks, getting ready for Vegas. They say there's no parallels to really be drawn between Atlanta and Vegas, and right now it's kind of looking that way because it's a different kind of racing for sure. Is Bradford going to go by the slipping and sliding 86 car of Cole Ainsley? And again, Ainsley the winner at Daytona in controversial circumstances as Bobby Hamilton Jr. went up the racetrack, and man, he is rim riding. He's running the old Dale Earnhardt Jr. line.
Yeah, and again, I think you have to for tire wear. That's the one thing that doesn't add up with Daytona is tire wear. We're working lap 20. We're halfway through this first stage, and when especially like running A-Fix when they were here earlier this season or at the end of last season, I can't remember which season it was in, but A-Fix, those races seldom went green flag all the way, but it hurt after 25, 30 laps. I can imagine a full 40 lap stint.
Yeah, I mean, these races will wear you out for sure, as you see Ainsley get loose again, come right back to the front end of Hamilton Jr. as Hamilton's trying to find a way around this 86 car. That would be for 5th spot as, of course, Warren bowing. Oh, we got cars wrecked up here. Who is this? I see Vincent Short and John Borquez turned around. Oh, my.
And caution on the speedway. Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say that most definitely should have been. They look jonked. It must have.
That took a while to draw a yellow. Usually you're gonna see a yellow for that kind of thing. Oh my gosh! They both get sideways and just hit each other. Oh my! Oh my!
Up and over. Was that Vincent Short over there?
That was
as well?
Vincent Short almost onto his lid. He was onto his side, and then the field comes by. I guess it wasn't too late, but definitely I think David Hoots up there sleeping a little bit on that one. Maybe it was like at the Roval in the Xfinity race where they couldn't communicate to the flagman because, man, that I thought we would have had a yellow way before that. But thankfully we still get one because if we had not gotten a yellow and these guys had tried to pull away, oh boy.
John Borquez was sitting on the front straightaway for a long time. We watched back this replay. Yeah, they just came together trying to save their cars. One up high, trying to use the bottom of the racetrack to straighten his out, and the one on the inside tried to correct his, and they just met.
And you'll see the leaders come out of 4. There they are. You'd think you'd get a yellow now or earlier, and then we wait. Finally, I think somewhere in there's the yellow flag. That's insane that it took that long. It took the leaders passing those guys to draw the yellow flag. I've not seen anything like that, I don't think. We do have one car, it looks like, staying out to take over the race lead. It's Justin Napier. Jeff Napier, his father, going to stay with him. Incredible strategy from those two. Very interested by that. And you know what we can do here, Emerson? We can get their opinion directly. And we don't get a chance to really talk to these guys all that often. But what do you say we go ahead and grab one of these two? I'm looking for Justin, and I don't see him, so I guess we're going to have to settle for Jeff here. And I'll just hand him right over to you, Emerson.
Right on. Let's see. Hey, Jeff, you got me?
Yes, sir.
All right, so interesting strategy up here. Sitting in second position, staying out right behind Justin. 24 laps in. What brings this call?
I was running up here actually to lead a lap and get a point, but Justin kind of snookered me to it and stayed out, so he gets the point. So I guess I'll try it next time.
Right on. How are those tires feeling? It looks like people were really shredding them about 20 laps in right before that yellow and starting to single it out. What were you feeling out there?
Well, I laid back and just rode the top line, and then about 12 or 13 laps in, I picked it up a little bit, and I was actually running cars down pretty quick right before the caution came out. And then, of course, you see now where we're at, so it is what it is. And I'm actually pitting right now with Justin.
Right on.
No, I'm staying out and get that point.
You love to see it. Love the play right now live on the broadcast and all that. So what's the game plan now?
Well, I mean, I'm on old tires. They're going to freight train me for sure. And pit road is closed, so I'm going to have to stay out. But probably I'll get in the backstretch or something and let the field go by and just ride,
Right on. Well, we'll see how this plays out for you. Best luck to you in that. And, yeah, we'll let you get back to it.
Yeah, no problem at all.
Jeff Napier making the call on the fly to stay out and take the lead from his son. We'll see how it works out for him. It's a bold strategy, Cotton. We saw Toyota Camry do that earlier this afternoon, and it did not work out. But I think Jeff Napier not really worried about the race win right now because there's still a stage break on the way, and realistically, he can even just run these tires out, stay on this tank of fuel as well, and just run out to the stage break. He's not really going to lose much. I don't think he'll even lose a lap as long as he keeps that car intact and just does his best to get to the completion of lap 40. So I think he's totally still in this one and just a strategy play to get that bonus point.
Right. What this also does is he gets to save a set of tires. Now, I don't know how much of a factor it'll be at the end with 5 sets of tires, but if it becomes a slew of caution towards the end, for all he cares, he could keep coming in, getting fresh rubber for every restart if that happens. So it's also another advantage. I'll have a set sitting down there in the pits when everybody else wouldn't, possibly, depending on how it plays out.
I think that's a great point to bring up. gets to save a set of tires. He still has 5, while these guys have 4 waiting on them if they have to come back down the pit lane. And of course, yeah, it's tough to say how many of those sets they're going to use, but if he turns it into one set in these first 2 stages instead of 2, like these guys, he's just better suited for the end. If there's a late race yellow and he wants to come in and get tires, he will absolutely, I think, blow by these guys. So absolutely great tire strategy, and I thought we would have seen more go for that kind of strategy, just trying to save their tires here and accept the fact that they might not get the same kind of stage points or whatever. But it's hard to get those stage points anyways, Emerson, because it's not like NASCAR where the whole top 10 gets a piece of the pie. It's only the top 5 where the race leader at the time of the end of the stage winner, gets 5 points. Second place in the stage gets 4, and so on, where third gets 3, and fourth gets 2, and fifth gets 1. So it's not quite like NASCAR, where a large portion of the field gets a piece of the pie, because, well, quite frankly, right now, half the field then would get some points out of this stage. So you've really got to play things right if you want to get some stage points in the Superior Class Auto Racing Cup Series. I guess that's why it's the Superior Class Auto Racing Cup Series. Coming to the green flag, completing 26 of 134, a little over 100 to go for Jeff Napier and the field. Jeff Napier on those old tires, just trying to save some tires and get that lap lead bonus point. Chris Mathis, Will Jones, Hayes Booth, the rest of the top 2 rows.
Yeah, you see Napier got a great restart, caught Mathis sleeping a little bit. He's going to get swallowed up here off of 2. Yep, Mathis goes right around the outside. I was hoping maybe Napier could do something, or maybe he should lane these guys by. With only 14 laps, it wouldn't be too long, but it would be dreadful on those tires.
And now we got to watch as the whole field tries to go by him. We've seen incidents before where somebody stays out or only takes 2 tires and the field gets bottled up and they wreck. Oh, Bobby Hamilton and Jason Spear threading the needle to get by that 40 car, and that's why you got to be careful, because you come up on that slower car really, really quickly, and sometimes they're still trying to figure out what those tires will be able to hold up to. One sideways further back. Oh my gosh, that was a Toyota down there. I think that was Steve Murdoch real sideways. He gathers things up, keeps racing. It's a relatively calm battle through the top 3.
Yeah, top 3 no Satel. I don't think they're going to fight too hard for now, because they don't want to get in any trouble. They've got stage points. Now, little later on in the stage, with about maybe 5-3 to go, we'll see who wants more stage points. But right now, if they keep it out of trouble, they'll be just fine for some stage points.
The whole top 8 single file. Then they start to mix it up further back around the, it looks like, 13th position. Ian Spear in a battle right now with Justin Napier, who we saw at the front for a long while. Oh, Jeff Napier in trouble. He's got a 23, and Nicky Spear making contact with him. The back end of the 40 car all dented up now, so it's gonna hurt him a little bit. I don't think it's gonna hurt the speed too much, but it's gonna hinder the rest of the race. I think just a tiny bit here for Jeff Napier, at least put a bruise on things. He should still be able to recover and get a decent one out of this. Meanwhile, side by side for the race lead, Chris Mathis has now a left side full of Will Jones trying to take that top spot.
So with this being said, we went green with about 14 to go, so you can eat up those tires a little bit. You can use them up a little bit more than you would. At the start of the race, you were thinking a 40-lap stint. You were trying to save them. Now it's go all the way for that, for those 5 stage points. Also want to give a huge shout out to Scott Warren for what an amazing save that was, trying to avoid all that melee with Napier.
Yeah, I think Jeff Napier might have made the best call as far as the long-term game. I mean, these guys are going for stage points, obviously, but thinking of the whole big picture, that's a great call there by Jeff, because these guys are going to be back in 9 laps now, and, do you take tires? I think the answer is yes. If you come down the pit lane, you probably should. You don't want to take fuel and weigh down the back of that race car and not have tires, I don't think. So that's a very interesting situation, we'll say, that these drivers are now presented with. And, I mean, they're going to have 50-some laps after the final stage break. And that's definitely, I think, where you are likely going to see some pit stops. It's going to be really, really close whether or not they do. 54 laps, I think, is just on the cusp of being able to run it out. But it's a matter of if you want to tax the tires that much.
Yeah, I don't know what their fuel load is, but if it's a full fuel load, you can make it on fuel. It's how you treat your tires and how hard you want to fight.
Yeah, it's hard to keep up with fuel loads. We see different leagues do different things, but I think these guys are a full fuel load, 18.7 gallons. We may be mistaken there. I may be mistaken there. Let me see if I can double check on that right quick. But yeah, I believe it's full fuel for these guys, which is going to allow them to get right up to that 54 lap marker, especially with some extra caution laps taking up part of that final stage. So it's interesting. I'm not so sure I'd want to do it, but it's interesting, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, the tire fall off is huge here. You lose about 2-3 seconds on old tires, maybe 4 seconds on old tires. But if you split the race in half, you take fresh tires, could you make up maybe 4 seconds a lap on somebody if you pit and if you don't? But I guess that's a conversation for later. Will Jones is still trying that inside, tightens up in the center of the corner. Everybody on the outside want to freight train him. Hayes Booth wants to get cleared as 56 so he can have a shot at Mathis, but Mathis is just kind of, I guess, playing to Dale Jr., kind of letting both line. Never mind, he goes high. Here comes Hayes Booth for second, and Mathis is going to get swallowed up, almost contact with Ansley and Bradford.
Colt almost lost that car out of 4. Now it looks like they just restarted the race 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 through the top 6 at least. Now they figure things out as Will Jones falls into second. Hayes Booth looks like he wants a shot at winning this stage, of course, as he leads down the backstretch, and they're going to fight it out off into turn 3 once more. Where does Will Jones go? He's going to fall in, still behind Hayes Booth, actually. Bradford enter the 46 car back into this battle, and these guys have a podcast that they do each week, and they were talking about the possibility of Chris Mathis getting payback from David Bradford. Could we see it this evening at Las Vegas?
I mean, who knows? Yes and no. Like, it's possible, but I mean, with this being almost like a plate track, you don't want to take any risk of damaging your car aerodynamically. So maybe he would wait for maybe a shorter track where that isn't as much of an effect, or we'll see if he even thinks about that if he's in the position to.
On board with Bobby Hamilton Jr., he's trying to pass Cole Ainsley. A caution flag. Oh, this is interesting for the stage break. Looks like we got Scott Warren in the pit lane, and I dare say this is the cause for our second yellow on the evening. Oh, there's a wreck up ahead. That's at least Steve Murdoch. I don't recall who the other car in that one is. I'm going to say possibly it was Ian Spear there in the number 18 car. This is an interesting little incident. They're both loose, much like our first wreck. And then Murdoch, oh my gosh, the RKO out of nowhere.
Oh my. You really feel bad for Scott Warren, man. I mean, he was up there in the lead for quite a bit, and he almost found that inside wall that first time, and unfortunately, circumstances out of his control, he finds the inside wall there.
Yeah, I mean, he wrecks out of the lead. Realistically, it's a one-car incident, no yellow for him, and then just, oh my gosh, blindsided. You can make the argument he could have been on the binders there and checked up and given himself more time to react, but you see that kind of thing happen, you think they're both going to be in the fence, and you never ever think that's how that's going to end up for him and the number 76 team. Just a bad night for Scott Warren. I mean, you never think that car is going back down the racetrack like that, and you never see that car either, so it's tough to even say and try and plan for what's going to happen. I mean, that's tough. Thomas McMullen stays out under this yellow.
Yeah, I was going to say, McMullen, is that Murdoch, or Murdoch scored second now? That's Murdoch there, and Napier. They could get stage points here because the stage ends at the end of next lap. I'm not sure how it's going to be counted.
I don't want to call who's winning the stage yet because we don't know if they're calling it early. Because they raced it out to that point, if they're going to call it here under yellow. It's tough to say who they're going to award the stage win to. Oh, Steve Murdoch, I think he was trying to cheese his way to second place in the stage, and he blows up trying to pace around here at Vegas. So he's going to come down the pit lane if he makes it that far. The 53 now under no power and a whole lot of friction because that car is wadded up. He's going to stop and tow. That will give second place to Jeff Napier, and these guys will come in. I dare say that these guys are not getting stage points, so I would give the stage win then possibly to Hayes Booth. I don't recall who was leader there at the cautions. We'll have to go and check the replay.
Yeah, I guess we're going to look at it now. Yeah, they were nose to tail, so it looks like Hayes Booth had a good stranglehold on that lead.
We'll watch here for the yellow lights. We're still green. and we're still green at a 3. So we'll see when these yellow lights come on. We actually have the technology to pause things. Imagine that. So Hayes Booth still leading. That's a yellow. That's a yellow light there by the line. So yeah, he's got the solo lead there. Hayes Booth is going to be our stage winner. You say we get a quick interview with him, and I'm going to give him right back to you here, Emerson.
Right on. Let's see. Hello, Hayes Booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Right on. Well, it's been an interesting race. Talk about that pass you made there. Mathis and Will Jones, almost a 2-for-1 special. How was that?
Yeah, I didn't really expect that. It looked like Chris kind of backed off entering turn 3, and so I knew I was going to be able to get a run on Will coming off the corner, so I just decided to, take the opportunity when I had it, and luckily that caution came out and got the stage win, so these points are definitely going to help.
All right, so it is confirmed you got this stage win at the time of yellow? All right. So how have tires been? That has been the talk of the town today. How have you managed yours, or have you really thought about them, or have you just been kind of running them out and seeing how the yellows play?
Yeah, I've been, ever since I started on iRacing, I've just been really bad at saving tires, so I'm trying to I'm trying to do my best with doing that in this race, and it seems to be helping so far. Car definitely gets looser on the long run, but fingers crossed it's tolerable right now. So yeah, those 14 laps weren't too harsh on the tires, but we'll just have to see what happens in the second stage.
Right on. You have anyone to thank for your stage 1 victory?
Yeah. Just want to thank David and them, running this league and everything. Car feels really good right now, so the tire compound and everything feels good. Track conditions seem to fit the style that I'm wanting to go with. Yeah, I want to also say thank you to my fellow competitors. We're racing each other clean out here, so hopefully we can continue that.
Right on. Well, congratulations on your stage 1 win, and best of luck to you the rest of the race.
Thanks, man.
And we'll get Hayes back up there before we go back green flag racing. What do you say we ride his onboard here and listen to some of the sights and sounds here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway as these guys get ready to go back green flag racing. So riding along with Hayes Booth to the green flag. You see it's full darkness now at Vegas. We'll hear him light those rear tires up and get this restart underway, and we'll step aside and let you listen to the motors and the stars and cars here at Vegas. Man, what a restart Will Jones got. He fights up into that top spot for now. Chris Mathis along with him. And these guys are just dogfighting it out once more. This is the start of stage number 2 here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And they'll get a full stage 2 as well, including green right at the start of this second stage. We're not sure where SCAR officials are calling the end of that stage, if it was at the end of the yellow or what have you, but we know that Hayes Booth won the stage regardless, so he is credited with those 5 points in the stage win from stage number 1, and he's racing for some more points here in stage 2. The 2 car looking great as he dips back down to the bottom side in the Ford Motorsport number 2. It's not even called Ford Motorsport actually anymore. It's Ford Performance, and I saw a Ford Racing hauler recently as well, and it's like, huh, you know, it's not Ford Racing either. I got so used to seeing Ford Racing around. It's all Ford Performance now, so kind of a throwback, I guess you could say, on that number 2 car.
Yeah. What's also a throwback is Mathis on the back bumper of Will Jones. They continue to duke it out, and he is pushing him into turn 1. Don't count out David Bradford, who's made his way now into 3rd. And how about Bobby Hamilton Jr. working into the top 5 as well?
Bradford hasn't led any laps yet this evening, but the 46 looking great as he battles with these guys into turns 3 and 4. And Adler DeFreeze, how about that 71 car? He's suddenly up into this top few. He's not in the top 5 yet. He's going to get by Hayes Booth in that spot as Hayes Booth lost 4th to Bobby Hamilton Jr. And yeah, great thing you bring up there with the 25 car, because suddenly this guy's just looking great. I don't know where this 0 bar candy bar Ford Mustang came from, but he is looking fantastic. We haven't thanked our sponsors yet this evening, so we'll get it in right here. Sound Art of Tucson. You can go to TucsonSoundArt.com and order your device today and use promo code PitStop TV when you check out as well. It's basically a canvas, gets wrapped around a box. There's a Bluetooth speaker in there, and it is one of the coolest things. It sounds real simple, but it's very cool as these guys are having a very cool battle for the race lead. We'll get back to that then as well. This is heating up, and out of turn 2, Chris Mathis almost gets run off the racetrack. A yellow flag going to save us from that one.
It looks like a big incident here, at least with Strawitch. Not sure what happened. We'll get a replay going, though.
Racing with Mark Truxell down the front stretch, and I assume it's going to come between these two. Males will come from up ahead, and we'll watch them race into turn 1. Oh, yeah, Strawitch just gets loose. I was kind of waiting, like, did we go too far back or what? But no, he just gets loose and crashes into Mark Truxell there. And oh man, coming down the racetrack, Jeff Napier, quick on the steering wheel to avoid there, but just really ends up as a single car incident for Fred Strawitch, but it does body slam the 5 car of Mark Truxell. And I noticed, I was watching one of these guys broadcast from a year ago. This paint scheme on this 5 car has not changed since then. I think that's a classic at this point for Truxell. You don't usually see paint schemes, especially on iRacing, stay the same for that long.
Yeah, that's interesting. Usually drivers, lose interest in their scheme or just want to spice it up a little bit. And little design changes here or there can happen, or complete overhauls of their liveries or paint schemes or different sponsors or whatever. But that's awesome that he has that tied to it. It's going to make it easier for us to identify him on track. And I wonder how much damage that 5 has. It didn't look like it affected too much, but maybe the aerodynamics on that might be affected.
He does come down the pit lane along with several other drivers, all led by Jeff Napier. Will Hewitt's in. Truxell, of course, Strawitch is in. Bo Urquez looks like he comes down. No, I think he's still on the racetrack. He is. I think he's getting a free pass right here. We do also want to thank Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine. If you are in the market for any kind of permanent makeup procedures, cryotherapy as well, definitely check these guys out. Even if you're not in the main area, you might be able to make a trip up there. And I mean, it's a great vacation spot as well. Maybe not now in the fall. Granted, it's beautiful up there this time of year, but it's getting colder and colder up north. But still, you can check out Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine on Facebook at Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine using the ampersand for the word and just check out what Ashley Bollinger and company are doing at their Auburn, Lewiston, and Harrison, Maine locations. They are expanding fast, not quite like wildfire, but close. And, man, I look forward to seeing where Permanent Makeup and Cryo and Main goes in the future. We also want to thank, of course, Whiplash Media, giving us, most notably, camera angles and graphics that you see in all of our broadcasts. And you can check us out as well for paint schemes, stream overlays, whatever it may be that suits your fancy, as well as pictures, both on iRacing and in real life. Whiplash Media is trying to get into it all, public relations, social media management, everything over there at Whiplash Media. Basically, if it's racing related, particularly sim racing related, we can at least point you in the right direction in some way, shape, or form. I also want to mention, because I saw really, I think the only thing that's changed on the 5 car is the pink lettering. I don't know what that lettering says, but on the topic of pink in general here, Emerson, I want to talk about something that's not, I don't think, talked about enough. Of course, everybody changes their stuff to pink in October. Paint schemes, cleats in football, whatever. But seriously, I want to raise awareness of the breast cancer situation. Really just breast cancer awareness. I didn't want to say awareness twice so fast, but I guess that's the best way to say it. And I think just raise awareness of the situation. The Susan G. Komen Foundation. We're not at all required to say this kind of stuff, but it's something that I think is just, it's said a lot, yet just not said enough.
Yeah, I think giving it the much-needed recognition it deserves, the Susan G. Komen Foundation, of course, and giving them the funding could really help out the breast cancer fight. And, you know, as much as we can do for them, it will go a long way.
And while it is Sunday, October 11th, I can't call attention to just breast cancer awareness without also mentioning that it is coming out day. And 100% massive props to everybody with the courage to do so. It's incredible stuff. We don't have any like special graphics for either of these things. Really just want to talk about it and bring it up and hopefully raise awareness to these situations. We don't really do so very often, but I think if we can just mention it and get people thinking about it, that's at least the little bit that we can do here at PitStop TV. As we get ready to go back green flag racing, all attention will focus back to these battles that we've been watching all evening long. It's great stuff up here, Emerson. But you do have to wonder if maybe these guys' luck is going to run out, and I don't even mean the pun there, but I guess it works.
Yeah, I mean, these guys, they've been racing absolutely insane. Like, they've been racing so hard against one another. I can't believe they have yet to run into each other as much as, well, they've run into each other a couple times, but those cars look fine. It looks like they haven't even been racing today the way they have been. It's going to be interesting how long they can race like this and how long they can keep the cars off one another. As the race gets later and later, I don't know how magnetized these cars are, but they may look like magnets towards the end.
We'll see just how beat up these hunks of metal are when they come across the start-finish line here in 80 more laps. It is 80 laps to go perfectly when we take this green flag. There they go, Will Jones with a big start, and he's going to get the jump on Chris Mathis and co. as David Bradford and Bobby Hamilton Jr. battle side by side now into turn number 1. Up through the gears they go. Hayes Booth currently into that 5th spot, the final point-paying position here in stage number 2. Alan DeFries, Justin Napier, Cole Ainsley, Jason Spear, and Thomas McMullen, the rest of your top 10. What a top 10 we've got.
Chris Mathis from the outside on that restart. Didn't get a good restart. He's going to clear Will Jones for the lead before we even get out of turn 4. I wish I was about to say, I downplayed starting the race from the inside lane just because, you know, it's so hard to get the power down and all of that. But the restarts from the inside have been great. People have been getting clear on that inside lane until the run off of turn 2 is so immense. Will Jones had nothing for Chris Mathis.
As these guys get everything back under action, want to shout out everybody out there in Facebook world, Twitter land, Twitch, whatever, YouTube chat. You get the point. We see Sue Wally Bennett out there cheering on Hayes Booth, as well as Jared Darling, Lori Bennett Booth as well. We got, Terry Craven Ainsley cheering on Cole Ainsley, as you might imagine. The YouTube chat's pretty quiet, so if you're out there on YouTube, definitely let us know where you're watching from, who you're cheering on. It's lap 57 of 134. They race off into turn 3.
Yeah, we're about 10 away from halfway, and you have to think the rest of this stage, they would run on this set of tires. But again, I just can't stop thinking about tires. They're actually pretty tame up here, and I think this is, the part of the race where you understand, hey, we're pretty far from the stage end. We're pretty far from the end of the race. No need to wear your stuff out now. As I say that, Bradford wants to find a way around Will Jones, but he stays in line, actually. As I think that's Hamilton Jr. trying to work to the inside of Hayes Booth. I think they're just going to shut me up right now, so I'll just stop talking there.
It's hard to figure out what to say with these guys. As 3 wide goes Cole Ainsley. He wants to get into this fight. He's getting in the middle of Justin Napier now into freeze there. McMullen behind, and they're even battling up ahead as Hayes Booth is up the racetrack. Napier sideways through 1 and 2. Does he hang on to it? Yes, 3 wide down the backstretch. Go Hamilton and Ainsley. McMullen right to the back end of the loose 54 of Napier. They battle up ahead as well as Chris Mathis pulls away for the moment. Will Jones up into second. The 46 of Bradford, he is third. Hayes Booth joining them. It's a matter of picking your suit. Are you a Hart? Are you a Spade? What are you? And which driver is which? I wish we would have thought of that prior, I guess, because that would be a great way to coordinate things. Cole Ainsley fights to the inside, and he's trying to get down to the bottom side of Bobby Hamilton Jr. That would be for the 5th position for Cole Ainsley, and he would crack the top 5 and get up into a points-paying slot. You mentioned we're coming up on halfway. That should be at the completion here of lap 67.
Double wide throughout the rest of the field pretty much in frame besides Chris Mathis, but don't look too soon. David Bradford trying to roll up to that quarter panel. I think he's more occupied with the 56. How about the 86 of Ainsley? He's going to get taken 3 wide here. Who was that? That's
Will Hewitt. Where did he come from? 3 wide, almost 4.
I was just about to say Hewitt from the back. Here he comes. He's got a full head of steam up the inside. He's looking for third from Bradford.
2 by 2 by 2, and actually now they sorted out for the race lead. Mathis P1. Look at Will Hewitt. He qualified at the very back of this field earlier on today. He's hooking the bottom side right now. He's got fresher tires. He's going to the front. The 7 car back down to the bottom side.
Yeah, he used up that set of tires, but I think this shows how much track position is a factor. He wants to get up here, he wants to play, and importantly, he wants stage points. If he can stay up here for the next 17 or so, or next time by will be 17 laps till the stage end, and he's trying to get for this race lead.
This is insane stuff here from Will Hewitt. He's finding the bottom side in the Pro Carry number 7. Strawitch back onto the racing surface there down the backstretch. Hewitt loses some spots, loses some steam, and those guys that have been up front all night long go back on by him. The 7 definitely starting to feel, I think, a bit maybe under the, well, I shouldn't say under the weather, but underpowered, I guess, undergripped. I'm trying to find the right words. What I'm trying to get to is the 7 car's tires are just going away. You mentioned it, Emerson. He used those tires up, getting everything he got on that little run. I'm not so sure he can do it again, but he's going to give it his darndest try as he fights down to the inside of Hayes Booth and company.
The other thing is tire temperature. The harder you run, the hotter the tires get, the less grip they have. You have to maybe have to go back there, cool off the tires, but here he goes. He's cleared a third, or almost clear Bradford. He's on his quarter panel, at least Bradford is to Hewitt, but he is fighting so hard on that inside, but it's so hard because it wears so much of your tires out.
And how long can he do this? How long can he hook that bottom side and try and get by these guys before he gets a little too loose, before they make a mistake or something? Because this is just insane stuff. What Will Hewitt's able to do is Mathis finally going to react to the 7 car, blocks down there a little bit, I think just trying to take some options away from Hewitt. But Hewitt's going to fight down there anyways, and he gets to the inside of Chris Mathis at the stripe, and it's side by side for the race lead.
I think that was reverse psychology for Hewitt. I think Mathis was trying to block him, and Hewitt said, he's finally worried about me. I'm going to go for it. Up the inside, side by side, down the back, straight away. Mathis still holds on with the advantage up high.
You see Hewitt, the lone car on the bottom side right now. He's got the better tires, but those tires are going to start to feel a bit slimy, a bit greasy, and wear off. But he just drives off the bottom so much better than they do, even off the top, it seems like. And it's still side by side across the stripe that time, and into turn 1. This is the final lap in the first half of this race, but these guys still have 14, coming to 13 to go in stage 2.
Now I'm really starting to get worried for Hewitt's tires. I mean, about 10, 12 laps, 15 laps of racing hard, that will do it. But they had about 20 or so when they restarted. So we'll see when he finally gets those right sides gone. If he can hang up here and maybe get some stage points.
Well, he's your leader halfway here, Emerson, and you're right. It's starting to get worrisome, rather, especially the way he's constricting his entry and exit of the corners. He's got a car width or more of room every time up to Chris Mathis, but this time he might just have him cleared. Not quite. A big run of momentum up the top side for Mathis, but he's entering so low on the racetrack, it's really burning those tires even more, and Hewitt's going to be careful of that. Now he's sideways. Mathis almost into his right rear. They sorted out, but Mathis going to lead at the stripe.
Hewitt wishes he could have cleared him one corner earlier. I think that was it. But he's going to try it again, but those tires are starting to give up grip. That right rear, I think, is wearing out more than that right front. Just the angle to 7 is running through the corners.
Well, when the right front's gone, it starts to drive off that right rear, and that's why it gets sideways. And I'm surprised the right rear is holding up right now, because it's going to start heating up and superheating, if you will. Thankfully, we can't have these tires chunk up, delaminate, anything like that. So I don't think he has to worry about that kind of thing, or like really pushing it too hard. But he's got to do exactly what he's just done, is get in line. But now he goes down to the bottom side, and he's trying again. He's got to run in behind, I think, Chris Mathis here for a few laps and just bide his time, try and save what he has, and go for it here at the end of the stage. Because also, if you go too early, Chris Mathis can just try and beat you back.
Yeah, what Chris Mathis is doing by running this high side is not wearing out those right front, those right side tires as much. Hewitt, if there's anything left on those right sides, he has to save them now, cool those tires off, let them regain any grip that's left on those right sides, and hopefully not be out of grip with coming to. Oh, he's so loose. He is so loose. I don't know if he can hang on for 9 more laps this time by.
It's going to be really, really tough here for Will Hewitt, but I think these other guys are going to start having problems as well. If they start trying to push, they're going to have the same issues, I dare say. We have a Ford leading 3 Chevrolets and another Ford here in the top 5. They've all split away from Bobby Hamilton Jr., who races in 6th. Cole Ainsley is in 7th spot. Jason Spear takes up 8th. It's going to be Thomas McMullen in 9th position. Justin Napier rounds out your top 10. But all eyes go back up to the top 2 as Will Hewitt still trying to get by Chris Mathis.
At this point, he's having fun. He's up there. He's letting that right rear rip, and he's having fun. I mean, he is going for it. And, I mean, what more could you say? What do you have to lose, I guess? Go for it. Chris Mathis is feeling pressure for the first time in a while. Well, he's actually felt pressure most of the day. I shouldn't say that. But a different competitor than, out of our usual competitors. And, big moment out of 2. Big moment. Can he hold on to second? No, he's going to lose second. Let's see where he slots in here.
That was a big slide for Will Hewitt. Oh, and he's up the racetrack in the center of 3 and 4. That pushes Will Jones up a little bit, and that's going to get the 56 out of line, and it's going to let Chris Mathis start to gap them for the race lead.
Yeah, David Bradford, he wants to go, but where does he go? He kind of has to wait behind Will Jones. He could take it 3 wide. That's risky, and then that wall will jump out at you. But Jones trying to clear Hewitt this time down the back straight, and Bradford wants to follow.
Fighting it out side by side are Bradford and Hewitt now. Hewitt looked like he had all. Again, I think if he just stayed in line, he could have finished second in the stage, but he wants to go for it all, and he wants to go for that stage win. I totally get it, but he does fall back now into 4th spot, and Hayes Booth going to try and go by on the top side. And all these guys, I think, have taken better care of their tires. So at this point, the 13-lap difference that Hewitt had going for him has been definitely negated, and I think he's got worse tires. Justin Napier, how about that save for the Maccas? It's going to be Jason Spear to the bottom side of Cole Ainsley.
When there 5 laps of rubber on that 7 car to hold on for 1 stage point, we look further back and double wide here. This is for 7th position, not for points, but if something happens up front, this could be for 8-point or some. But how about Ainsley on that outside? We fall back now. McMullen holding on to 9th. Napier under attack from Jeff Napier. They run nose to tail back here, coming around to 4 laps to go in the stage.
McMullen in the Whataburger 02, leading Justin Napier in the Jack Daniels 54. Both Chevrolet Camaros, but the red dot Toyota Camry of Jeff Napier in behind. These guys battling for 9th, 10th, and 11th on the racetrack. Cole Ainsley, Jason Spear, they've sorted things out for 7th. So Chris Mathis, is he going to get another stage win? It's certainly looking like it. Will Hewitt may slide into that final points-paying position here in stage number 2. But I guess it's going to be the final point-paying position, not points-paying, because he's only get a singular point if he finishes right where he is.
You know, I'm thinking about it now. Maybe this whole thing was a win. He got those fresh tires. Now he lost that set of tires. That is the one negative out of it. But he got up here. He tried some stuff. And I think he had a net gain in positions. And if he can hold on ahead of Bobby Hamilton Jr., that's also a point to his total. He's got a lot of wins. He learned a lot up here. And he'll be restarting with these guys when, you know, everybody comes down and takes 4 tires at the end of this stage eventually.
That's the optimist, and what I'm worried about is the fact that he's up here now and he's going to be on an even playing field with these guys going into stage 3, where earlier when we saw him on the same tires as the leaders, he was nowhere to be found. So it's a great win for Will Hewitt, sure, but he's got to make sure to capitalize and continue this progress, or he's going to be right back where he was earlier on. And I mean, he's clearly got speed, but at the same time, he had 13 lap better tires than these guys going into the restart, and that's going to make a huge difference. He's still pitching that car sideways, dirt tracking a bit out of 3 and 4, coming to 1 to go in stage number 2.
Hayes Booth was all over that 46, loose out of turn 4. Can he have one last dive at Bradford? Bradford way up high. Hayes Booth, can he turn under him down the back?
Mathis leads down to 3. Will Jones behind. It's not quite a battle. In fact, let's go ahead and watch it for a moment. Not even. So we'll go right back to those guys as they're trying to sort out who gets what points. Hamilton Jr. tries to get a run. He's not going to do it. Chris Mathis will win stage number 2 with a battle here. Hayes Booth makes it interesting, just not quite able to get 3rd place away from David Bradford. And Chris Mathis hangs on for yet another stage win in the Superior Class Auto Racing Cup Series, winning stage 2 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
What a season Mathis is putting together. Another great performance here in the stage. But when we get back to racing, we've got about 50 laps to go. The longest stint these drivers are going to go on tires if it runs green all the way. And if it doesn't, then how many sets of tires you got lying in the pits?
Well, this should be their 4th set that they take out of a total of 6, including the one that they started on, right? So they get 5 extra sets, total of 6 sets in the race. This should be where they put their 4th on, because we had the first set, the first caution. The stage caution, that's 3. The mid-stage caution, well, this could actually be their 5th set, I suppose. Depends on how they played this, although they have not come in since the beginning of stage 2. So actually, no, this should be their 4th set. I believe they will have 2 after this, so they should still have 3 going into this round of pit stops. I mean, it's interesting how you try and play it from here, because you're really only going to use those sets of tires if we get yellow flags. If it goes green, you might pit, but even then, man, you could go to the end.
And then you think about Hewitt, who's used the set, and which one was it? Was it Jeff Napier who saved the set? We'll see what kind of positions they're in. If we get yellows in the stage, you could run green, and all this goes out the window. And then we're looking at a possible one-stop green flag stage, or none. But we'll have to see how that plays out.
Everybody coming in for 4 tires and fuel. I'm looking to see if anybody stays out. Looks like John Boerquez will. Fred Strawitch, of course, because they are laps down. And actually, Boerquez might get back on the lead lap right here. I think he's getting his final lucky dog to get back onto the top lap. And Chris Mathis, the race out of pit road, goes to the number 18 Ford Mustang, our stage number 2 winner. And we'll drag him down here and talk to Chris Mathis, the man, the myth, the legend himself. Emerson, take it away.
Right on, Chris Mathis. You got a copy?
Yeah, man, I got you.
How's that 18 handling for you?
Super loose, super loose.
We can tell. That stage, you were, or that stint, I guess, from that last restart in the middle of the stage, you were under attack from a different driver in Will Hewitt compared to, Will Jones and Bradford. How was that, and how much pressure were you feeling from Hewitt?
I knew he pitted that last caution and had fresh tires, and I was gonna let him, if he could clear me on the bottom and get up in front, I was gonna let him go, but I'm not just gonna pull over. So I just stayed on the high line, kept the momentum going, and he kind of burnt stuff up.
Right on. For this stage, you have Will Jones here outside, David Bradford and Hayes Booth behind you. Who are you most worried about heading into this third and final stage?
Well, Will's been fast. David's won, should have won 2. Hayes Booth's fast. It's really a crapshoot here in Vegas.
What's the game plan here? If we run green, is it a one stop or no stop?
It's borderline. I think you can make it on fuel, but I don't know if the right rear is going to last for that or not. It's just burning it slap up.
Right on. You have anybody to thank for your Stage 2 victory here at Vegas?
Thank you guys for broadcasting, and everybody else, Bobby, Will, David, everybody who races here.
Right on. We'll let you get back to it. Chris Mathis, your Stage 2 winner.
And we're getting pretty used to talking to the driver of the number 18, as well as some others who have just been dominating different leagues that we've been covering in recent weeks. The 18 just looks so good. I'm not sure how you beat him right now. He's just, he's quick everywhere we go so far. I really am just not sure how you beat that 18 car of, Chris Mathis. He's just, it blows me away that he's just there every single week at all these different racetracks as well. And really, let's not discount the runs that Will Jones and David Bradford especially have had as well, because 3 weeks in a row now, 3 very different racetracks. You could throw in the season opener at Daytona as well, where Bradford was up there, and it's crazy that they're making such easy work of each of these different racetracks. I think the way Chris put it is a great way to put it, especially for Vegas. It's a crapshoot for sure. It's really just a matter of chance at this point. Does everything go your way? And it's hard to say that you did everything right or wrong at any point in this race.
Yeah, I agree. And Vegas is also just a tough track. Like you said, it's loose, and he's been up here leading. I can't imagine how it is in the pack, in the draft. And of course, Will Hewitt letting her rip. I'm sure it was looser for him, maybe. But it's absolutely wild how these guys are keeping these things straight. I know. I ran NIS here, and I had trouble. I ran the whole race, but I had trouble really keeping that thing straight after 45 laps of racing. But we'll see here coming to a race once again with 52 laps to go. At iRacing.com, Ford Mustang pace car into the safety of pit lane. We are green once again from Las Vegas.
Starting stage number 3, we're actually just to the south side of 50 laps to go. 49, I believe, at that junction right there. Taking lap 86. It's so close for these guys. It is right there, and whether or not they make it to the end from here, I think the fuel will hold up for 49 laps. It's a matter of whether or not these tires do in any reasonable capacity. We saw Jeff Napier stay out on tires a little while earlier. He only lost 10 laps in a few laps, but it's going to be a different game here. It's borderline, I think, like Chris said, of whether or not you take tires midway through this stage. If we get a yellow, it changes things up. But right now, they're already racing like they might end up with a yellow because, oh man, they are battling big and early.
Hewitt going back to work again on that inside. Oh, crashing in a back end. Oh, that's the L2 of McMullen hard into the inside wall. Or did he save it? I can't actually tell. Oh, I think he made contact with it.
Well, Emerson, there's a very good reason that you never squish a burger on a grill. It loses all of its juice and its flavor, and right now that is not quite Flavor Town for the number 02 car. Slams the inside wall and squishes the left side of it. Hopefully he gets back into this race before too long, but it's going to be a rocky road from here on out. I've gone from hamburgers to ice cream.
Hey, I mean, great pun, by the way. But 56 of Will Jones continues to pressure Mathis, Hayes Booth, and Hewitt, just a new player to the mix. But there's been 4 drivers running nose to tail for a good majority of this Vegas race. We'll see what happens here as we 45 laps to go. And here comes Hewitt to the inside of Hayes Booth. Can he find a way in line? It's just like you do at Talladega when everybody's formed up on that outside lane. You try to make up a spot one at a time, and to no avail there for the 7 of Hewitt yet.
That's right, no avail yet, but he can't race like he did in stage 2 because he's going to burn those tires off and he's going to have nothing for these guys. I mean, he's got to be real careful about the way he does things here in this final stage. He gets down to the bottom side of Hayes Booth and he just cannot get too comfortable down there. They're racing higher because that's where you have to race. You have to run up there or you are going to get deathly loose like you saw Will doing in that second stage. So it's a matter of whether or not Will can get by these guys early so he can get up there and run in the same line, or if he could just ride around and take advantage. I think that's the biggest thing, is take advantage of mistakes. As Hayes Booth might be making one by going down to the bottom side again. It's so tough to race down there lap after lap, so he's got to get this done quick.
Oh, and he clips the apron there. That's going to tighten the car up even more on corner exit, and he's not even going to find a way in line because Will Jones is right all over that back bumper of the 18 Ford Mustang up there. And Mathis is just loving what's going on in his mirror. Not that he's gapping them, just that they're wearing out their stuff, except he slips up high. Here comes Hayes moving for run.
Across the stripe, the 4 cars battling for this race lead under a blanket. Hayes Booth gets back down to that white line, hooks that inside line, and tries to get something on those top 3 on the outside of the racetrack. I mean, the 2 cars trying, but at this point I think he's got to cut his losses, save his tires, get back in line, just like I was saying Will Hewitt had to. It's so tough to run offline here in this kind of situation because you start burning your tires up, but it's just going to hurt you as the race goes on. If they get a yellow, if they get a chance to kind of reset in this battle, that changes things.
Now, it hasn't been used. Hewitt, a big slide, and he didn't even hit the apron there. But then he kind of forces his way in line. No, he's not going to get in line. Will Jones still fights back on that outside. Do I dare see if anyone tries to go up to that 3rd line? We haven't seen it all race, and I very seldom saw it in races here. But it is available. It's up there. I don't know how it handles and how bad the marbles are up there, but it would be something to see how desperate you get towards the end of this.
For sure. I mean, we saw a couple of those guys get way up there and start to run that 3rd line, but it just hasn't stuck around. And I don't think it's going to because it's so tough to run up there and run it quick up there. I'm not sure you're really going to see these guys go all the way out there. It's interesting to see what these guys do over the course of a run, though. We are now down to 40 laps to go as they cross the stripe to take lap 95 of 134. And again, I think the thought that has to enter all of our minds here is whether or not these guys are going to come in and pit mid-stage. But while we wait on that, Emerson, what do you say we go from the back to the front, since it's relatively tame for this front running? And I'll give you the back half of the field.
Right on. Well, we'll catch up with, this is Fred Strawitch. He's 12 laps down off the lead lap, but after that accident there, I believe it was in turn 1, he's just kind of hanging around, and we'll collect any points if anybody falls out of this race later in the running. And he started 10th, and it's just not been a great day after that accident. We'll next find our way up with Ian Spear. He is also 12 laps off the pace, so that's actually a battle for position between himself and Strawitch. That'll be interesting to see if 16th changes hands on the final results, but after starting 20th, it is an improvement from where he started right now in 16th, but not what he wanted. I can't remember if he was in an accident, but I would have to assume, being 12 laps down, that he is. Next, we'll find the 32 of John Bajorquez. He is 1 lap off the pace, 1 caution. He's back in this. Bajorquez, remember, he was stuck on the front straightaway after he got loose off of turn 4 with another car that was inside. They had heavy contact, and he was stalled on the front straightaway. He had to get a toe back, which put him 2 down, back to 1 down. Next, we'll find a 40 of Jeff Napier. He is last car on the lead lap in the 13th position. After starting 13th, he's running 13th. He got 1 lap led under that yellow. He got 3 laps led because he led to the restart. But we'll see what he can do. He does have that extra set of tires, so watch out for that. Mark Truxell, starting currently in 12th position. He started 19th, and he's been as high as 10th, so we'll see if he can maybe find his way up there. Maybe some cautions to go his way could play a long way. We find Mickey Spear in the 23 car. He started 16th up to 11th. This is the highest he's ran all day, and I believe he's closing on to some competition. We'll see if he can work his way up the scoring ladder. And how about 10th position, Justin Napier? He was up there in the 3rd position. He got a lap lead under that caution before coming to pit road, so his highest was 1st. I don't know why it says 3rd. But again, starting 3rd, not where he wants to be running. But since he started 3rd, he's got some sort of pace in there. We'll see if it comes to life later in this race when it matters.
Alan DeFries up ahead of him. He's currently in the 9th spot. The number 71 car started 11th. Currently 9th. He's been up there a couple of times. That's about all there is to say about the 71 car. Very quiet evening so far. In behind Jason Spear, though, in the number 83 Chevrolet Camaro, currently just riding around. He's been up there a couple of times as well. Currently in 8th spot. That's about all there is. He's just been very, very quiet this evening. Cole Ainsley, though, he's made his way up into the top 3, I think, a couple of times as well. He has really been fighting things out. You can see some of this battle up ahead of him as well. We're going to keep going. We're going to get David Bradford here, who started 6th place. He's currently 6th place. He's almost gotten up there to the lead. He's raced around for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and such. He's only been as low as 7th spot this evening. A great run for him in the 46 car. He's behind Will Hewitt, who's been all over the racetrack so far. Forward, back, and all in between. Started 17th spot, currently 4th, and now 3 wide with Hayes Booth and Bobby Hamilton Jr. as he actually takes 3rd place away. And we'll just get right back into this lead battle as they're racing it out across the stripe.
Up and down the racing surface. If it's paved, they'll be there. And Will Jones trying to take the race lead away. He'll have a little bit of a boost from the 7 of Hewitt. If they can keep it on their big moment. The 25 of Hamilton slides up the track. Did he catch the wall? I don't know if he did, but he's losing pace down the back straightaway. He'll fall back to the back of this pack. But about 7 cars under a blanket going at it for this race lead.
Chris Mathis also got loose and caught the car in about the same way, just not quite as big of a moment for the 18 car, so that's why that battle has fizzled out, kind of, because he's right back to the back end of Will Jones and fighting for that race lead off into 1. Will Hewitt up into 3rd place. How about that 7 car? Again, Mr. Where did he come from this evening? I feel like that's going to change week to week, though, as far as who comes out of nowhere. The 2, I think, hard charges for sure this evening would be Chris Mathis and Will Hewitt, both coming from the back end of the field, and Chris Mathis going for the race win. I mean, we're coming down to 30 laps to go right here, and he's right back in the situation he's been in all season, where he's one of the cars to beat, if not the car to beat, and he's just trying to race out for the win.
I don't know. So at the start of the race, Mathis was gridded up 18th and Hewitt 17th. I don't know if starting in that same row left any good luck, but Hewitt has definitely found some speed that Mathis has as well as they go side by side into 3. Mathis would have the preferred line through the corner, but Hewitt would, but Mathis clears him on exit.
This is amazing stuff between these guys. We've seen great racing all night long up in this top bunch as Will Jones leads off into turn 1. Chris Mathis in behind him. They race through turn number 2, single file, mostly through this top pack. Actually, yeah, it looks like the entirety of this front 7 or so, all single file, just within a second as well as Bobby Hamilton Jr. hangs on to the tail end of this train.
And once again, it's 4 cars nose to tail. You saw Bradford trying to find his way around Cole in line. Cole Ansley up here as well. We haven't mentioned his name too much other than through the field there. And Hamilton's lost a little touch to this pack. I wonder if he did get that wall when he got loose and if it's hurting him. And if so, he might need a yellow to get back into this.
He is running 31.5s right there, where these guys are running 31 3s and 4s. He's just a little bit off pace, but pulling down on the bottom side there. He stays out of the way of these guys. But yeah, Hamilton Jr. just a little bit off pace right now, a 10th or so a lap. It could be tires, it could be body work. I'm not really sure. I mean, I haven't noticed any damage. It doesn't look like he got the wall. I don't think he did. I don't think Hamilton got into it, so I think he's okay. But these guys still fighting things out. They're trying different lines. It's just great to see these guys searching around, but I'm just not so sure how fruitful those efforts are going to be.
Hewitt, try as he might, I don't think what he's doing can be sustainable. Now, he's done it a lot less, than stage 2. I'd have to give him that.
Oh, two great catches, Hayes Booth and David Bradford.
I was focusing on the 7 car. I wish I would have seen that. That must have been some great saves. But Hewitt, again, he's not gone down there as much, and he's running a little bit towards the middle of the track, but he's still trying so hard to get that car to turn down in the center of the corner, and he might lose the spot to Hayes Booth here as they go side by side into 3.
Great stuff through and through the entire field here this evening. Oh, Will Hewitt, he's coming in. This answers our question. Are these guys going to pit or not? Very close to pit entry there. He is going to get down to the safety of pit lane. Will Hewitt, the first of the tankers up front. I'm going to quickly mention that we want to thank all of our partners again. Tucson Sound Art, Permanent Makeup and Cry One Man, and Whiplash Media. You can check them all out at their respective social media channels. Sound Art of Tucson, TucsonSoundArt.com. I don't know why I got that one mixed up. For Tucson Sound Art, Permanent Makeup and Cry One Man on Facebook, and Whiplash Media on Facebook. You can also go to whiplash-media.com. This is great stuff. It's been great stuff all night long. We're going to keep saying it because it's truly great stuff right now. I'm just not so sure who the favorite is. I mean, Will Jones right now has the lead, and it seems like you're strongest when you're out in the lead no matter who you are, but it's tough to get there. It's tough to beat him. Yet anything can still happen. We still have 24 to go.
Right, and here's the thing I'm noticing. With Hewitt's pit, his best lap this race is a 29.7. These drivers right now up front are running 31.5s, and of course he's not going to run 2 seconds a lap faster the entire time, unless, the tire fall-off keeps getting to these drivers. Who knows if Hewitt can make up? What is he about? He's over a lap behind, so he's over 31 seconds back, but if he's like within 40 seconds, it's not out of the picture that he makes up this time. Maybe it's a long shot, but it's something to watch, I think, to see where Hewitt ends up.
Well, let's say 20 laps he's got to make up, I don't know, 40 seconds. That's 2 seconds a lap if they don't pit. I think my math checks out, right? 2 seconds a lap, thereabouts. If those guys don't pit, we'll see what his lap time is right here. His first lap on the racetrack on these new tires, and he's going to cross the start finish and run a 30.7. It looks like. That's well, I guess the motor's still getting spurred up, so we'll see what his lap time is here the next time around. But he's got to do a whole lot better than that. I mean, that's only a half second or so that he's, 7/10 of a second that he just made up right there.
Yeah, I think it's something to watch, and that means it would require the best out of Will Hewitt the rest of this race, which he's been trying his best up front. But can he do that same thing with no real cars right ahead of him to make him drive a little bit harder? We'll
it's
have
a little
to see.
faster, but these fast laps come in the draft, and he would need somebody to draft with right here. Without it, he's only going to be making up about a second a lap, and that's too much for him to make up without a pit stop from those guys. If they pit, he's going to make some time up, but otherwise, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know if they do pit. I mean, they can make it on fuel, so if you're going to go this long on tires, you might as well slug it out. We'll see. 20 to go. It's still not out of the question to pit now, but with Will Hewitt pitting when he did, I don't see many of the front runners coming in then.
No, they would have had to have pit at the same time. At this point, they've run themselves into a hole possibly. They might still come in and try and run back by him, but he's going to have the lead by a few seconds, it looks like, at the very least. Side by side are Chris Mathis and Will Jones off into turn one. Oh, how we've gotten used to that. Hayes Booth in behind him in that number 2 car. Just nowhere for him to go right now. He's got to have a big moment ahead of him, and he almost does. Is he going to push? Ooh, he almost pushed Chris Mathis, and I think he would have been better off to do so, but instead he helps out Will Jones, and that might get him up to P2 if he can get by Chris Mathis. It's going to be tough.
Oh, so tight off these corner exits. You have to think, tire wear is becoming a factor, but how much?
Oh!
Contact! Almost contact. Well, there was
contact for sure. Will Jones was all kinds of out of shape. I don't know how they didn't wreck.
Ansley almost made contact. Hayes Booth, he gets loose off the corner. They're all slipping and sliding. They think this is the
Bradford down to
bull
the
ring.
apron. Big catch for him.
They're thinking that this is the bull ring. Letting her rip on the exit, and Mathis to that inside. He hasn't run on the inside too much today, actually. It's only when he's happily taken away from him where he's been forced to run that inside. Drives it hard into one. I gotta say, Can these tires hold up another 17? Oh, he's loose. I don't know.
Oh my, here comes Cole Ainsley. He's going to go through. He's going to take second spot down the backstretch. We saw Colt get very loose multiple times earlier on. Suddenly, he's the driver keeping things straight going on through there for P2 as Chris Mathis and Hayes Booth are slipping and sliding.
You know what? Those guys, they've been fighting hard for the lead. Ansley's been in the lead pack, but he hasn't been battling too much since the restart. Ansley, I think, might have these tires in the best condition.
We're on board with Hamilton Jr. as he runs 5th place behind Chris Mathis and Hayes Booth. You saw the big slide job there from Hayes Booth, but a crossover now into turn 3 for Chris Mathis. Tries to slide up in front of him. Slide job it is for Chris Mathis, and he gets that 3rd spot back. These guys are racing like their lives depend on it. This is insane stuff. They may be in the better spot, at least as opposed to Will Hewitt and pitting, but they've got to make sure they get there first.
Now Ansley very loose in the center of the corner. Everybody's getting loose except Will Jones.
See Scott Warren out in the YouTube chat saying he'll see us at Watkins Glen in 2 weeks' time. That's right. We're going left and right turning in a couple of weeks. Not quite the Roval, but it's still going to be a special race, I think, at Watkins Glen here in a couple of weeks' time. That's going to be very, very fun. Getting to go road racing in a couple of weekends. 120 laps going to be in the books when they come back across the start-finish line this next time around. And I think the strategy definitely is not to pit here. I think these guys definitely would have had to pit by now. We're coming to 14 to go as Will Jones continues to lead. This is the guy who said he would be part-time. Didn't think he would have made the last couple of races. Those are his words from his post-race interviews, but he's found a way, and he is here and looking like he's going to win.
Yeah, 0.6 of a second advantage if you round up. That's actually coming back down to 0.5. But yeah, next race at Watkins Glen, that'll be fun. If anyone knows me, I love stock cars on road courses, so I was having at it this week when we were at the Roval. But yeah, Watkins Glen, that's gonna be fun, especially on iRacing. They have yet to model in the track repave, so those S's are a blast. It's going to be very bumpy, very treacherous. It's going to be fun to see how these Cup cars handle it.
Still nose to tail through the entire top 5, albeit a little bit split up as Cole Ainsley starts to run that high line you were talking about there, Emerson. And here comes Chris Mathis to try and take advantage of that. He goes down to the bottom side looking for 2nd place once more.
I'm now seeing Will Jones run that.
Oh my!
Oh, so close if they did make contact, but I think they did. And Mathis was wicked loose off the corner. And I'm starting to see Will Jones go to that bottom lane in 3 and 4. I wonder if he... Oh, caution!
This changes everything, and it's Justin Napier turned around out of turn 4.
Oh, no, Justin.
Oh, my. This entire race turned over on its head. Suddenly, the race looking pretty good for Will Hewitt. He'll get his lap back. He's the first car 1 lap down, but he's got to try and make those tires work for him pretty hard. I think that might have been his last set as well. So we'll see what happens to the 54 of Justin Napier. He got in the fence out of 2, then gets real sideways out of 4, slaps the outside wall pretty hard. And again, talking about how he was mentioned in the podcast these guys do each week, they were looking forward to seeing what he could do once he got his internet situation figured out. And the 54 looked great in the early goings, but as the race went on, Justin just didn't have the pace to keep up.
Yeah, that replay looks like a case of just tires. Look at him, loose. And he tried. He almost had it saved and just he overcorrected into the wall. It's so hard to save one of these Cup cars when they're gone. Even with those big spoilers on the back, they don't do as great of a job as you think. It's still a hard thing to handle.
Yeah, despite the massive spoilers in the backs of these race cars, it doesn't do a whole lot for you when you get sideways. Will Hewitt stays out of course as he's a lap down. Everybody else in the front coming in for, assumingly, their last pit stop. This is likely going to be all of their last sets of tires. And even if you were Jeff Napier saving a set, even if he'd still got an extra set, I don't think it's going to help him much. That's the worst feeling in the world when you come back and you know you've just got an extra set and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, I was really interested to see how many cautions you would have gotten this stage. The way they have been racing, I thought Will Jones missed his pit box, by the way, but he's at the very edge of it. Almost. It looks better, I guess, on camera. But the race off of pit road, Ansley, I think, will get second. Wow. Mathis is going to come out third, but he's going to restart right behind Will Jones. We've seen how good the inside has actually restarted today, contrary to my belief, entering today at least.
And I neglected to recall that I don't think Will Hewitt's got any shot here. Of course, he gets his lap back under this yellow, but he's going to have to start from the tail end of the field, despite being back on the top lap here for the number 7 car. So I don't think he's got tires. I think he's just got what he's got at this point. 16-lap-old Goodyear Eagles going to try and get the 7 car to a decent little top 10.
Yeah, we'll see how it plays out. I mean, this could be chaos. You know, we could see a massive one.
Oh, it's not over for sure, but
oh, yeah.
With inside of 10 laps to go, if it does go green, it's not looking good for Will Hewitt.
Yeah, he slugged it out as much as he can. Now, if he could have saved those tires in that state, well, then he wouldn't be a lap down, I guess. But I don't know. It coulda, woulda, shoulda, I guess, for Hewitt. But wow, he gave it a try today.
Absolutely gave it one hell of a fight, trying to see what he could do here in the desert of Nevada. If you haven't seen everything leading up to this point, if you're just joining us here at PitStop TV, boy, what a race you've missed. It has been nail-biting action, wheel-to-wheel all evening long. This has been great stuff. We've got Terry Craven Ainsley cheering on Colt. We've got, I know Lori Booth, I believe, is still out there cheering on Hayes, who has looked very good all evening long. But Hayes Booth, worth mentioning, he comes in, what was it, 4th spot? He exits the pit lane in 7th position. Issues there for Hayes, but he's still got a great number 2 car, and I think he can race back up there and try and make good on that stage number 1 victory, try and win this one when it's all said and done. You see the field coming out of turn number 4, I believe, to the 1 to go signal from the flag stand.
Yeah, I'm just waiting to see if we do get 1 to go. We should. 7 laps, 7 spots, 6 spots for Hayes Booth. Non-possible. Very tough. If the restart plays out in his favor, it's doable.
You see them now doubling up, getting ready to go back racing. Well, since Vegas is a town of betting and gambling and everything else here, who are you betting on to take this one here, Emerson? There's a lot of great choices up there.
You know, how much money are we working with? I don't know. I bet.
Oh, believe me, no money. No, I can't afford to lose that one.
I'll go Cole Ansley. I want to see how this restart from the outside works. I want to see if Will Jones gets a good restart, and if Ansley can play his cards right and get to that race lead, can he hold him off? I'm gonna go Ansley here.
I might go for the underdog right here. We have not seen Jason Spear much this evening, but when we have, he's looked pretty good in that number 83 car, and he lines up in 6th spot for this restart. So look for that 83 to maybe make a difference on this one. I don't want to take the low-hanging fruit of Chris Mathis or Will Jones. That 83 car does look pretty good. We're going to have 7, count them, 7, a very lucky number in Vegas, laps to go as we get ready to go back. Green flag racing out of turn number 4. Will Jones, the race leader. Cole Ainsley, 2nd place. Will Jones gets a great restart. And look at that, Jason Spear hangs on.
Now what I know, Mathis actually going to get to the inside of the 86. We'll see what kind of run Ansley can get, but Mathis, can he get clear to 2nd? Bobby Hamilton Jr. into the mix. Can he get clear to 3rd? He'll be side by side with Ansley down the back. Mathis is clear to 2nd. But Hamilton wants to go to the inside. The block from Mathis into turn 3. And now Mathis to the inside in 3 for Jones to the race lead. Can he hold on? He's sliding on corner exit.
Almost contact, and here comes Hamilton. He stays in behind Mathis for now, but he might peek to the inside. There he goes, 3 wide. Bobby Hamilton Jr. to the bottom. Contact between Will Jones and Chris Mathis. Sideways is Hamilton. Oh, it's a big chunk him up.
Big accident in turn 2. Oh, more run. Oh, Hewitt's involved.
Oh, guys, check up.
Oh, no. The spotters, say something. Big mess.
Many cars came in after the fact and really blew that one up. That's big.
They were 3 wide. They were racing hard. And Hewitt slams that, I think that's the 5 there. Just, wow, big incident. Upside down, is he?
We'll take a look at the replay here. Bobby Hamilton Jr. finally made that move to the bottom side that he needed to make if he wanted to get somewhere, and he was looking so good. And then right here, I think he kind of flinched. Oh, he just starts to slide right there. He might have turned an extra little bit left, but just starts to slide onto the apron. Will Jones as well, and with the 2 cars spinning like that, I mean, it's bad news for the entire field. Ainsley might have just gotten through, Napier as well, but Bradford, Hamilton, Jones, and more all very torn up. Truxell, and this is the one that gets me, that hit there. Hey, it's so late in the wreck.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what advantage McMullen saw out of that when 18 laps down. But yeah, that sent Truxell upside down. Truxell has left the session along with Jones.
We'll take a look from one of the blimps here and see if we can get a better look at some of what goes on. So Chris Mathis and Will Jones make contact there, and Will's trying to recover the entire corner. That's what starts his slide, and he recovers, then starts the slide again, and I mean, it's a lost cause there. I want to see how Hayes Booth gets through. He gets a little bit of right front damage. We'll check up on that here momentarily. Does Ainsley get by? That's another big player in this one. You took your gamble on him, and he does. That's incredible. We'll get the onboard on that in a moment. The 23 car of Mickey Spear looks like he gets a piece of it. Oh! DeFries, what a great evasion by him as well. Hewitt slams into the back of Truxell. Truxell just got hit by 2 guys right there. Way after the fact.
Yeah, Truxell, I mean, no part was he in starting this wreck, and looks like he got one of the worst hits of it. Man, oh man, and yeah, he was one of the first drivers out of the session after this. That one's rough for Truxell.
Well, let's see the whole field stop on Cole Ainsley's nose right here through turns 1 and 2. This is incredible stuff that he gets through this. Oh my gosh. Oh, actually, he spins out. Oh no! Does he keep it off? Oh, he does.
Wow.
What a save for him. That's incredible. We also got to check in with, who was it? I got to think now. Who was that other car I wanted to look at? DeFries, that's right. Alan DeFries. We'll check on his replay here.
Quick thing, Mickey Spear just blew up an engine under yellow. Oh,
and he was that white and black 23 car that's right there in the middle of all that. Oh, DeFries does get a small piece. I think Napier got through, though. Jeff Napier. We'll check on his replay as well. I mean, this is great replay footage here from this wreck.
And he's just hanging back. I think he was expecting this as well. If he didn't get a good restart, might as well lay back. And there they were, spinning 2 separate accidents in one big mess. And whoa! I mean, look at the advantage. He's 3rd right now.
That's incredible. And yeah, he's going to line up P3 right here. Wow. Just wow. You do see Jason Spear up here. He's got a little bit of damage, so he's going to have a hard time trying to win this, but he's still in the running, and if something happens up ahead like we just saw, he might still be in this. We're showing 3 to go, but I think we're going to extend the race right here. This should be our first extension, so this will take us into our first green-white checkered attempt here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. I believe the first time that we've used one of these all season long. Actually, no, I think it might be the second. I'm actually failing to remember if we had one at Daytona.
I cannot recall myself, but we're at, first of 3, not limited. We got 3 attempts. So this will be interesting to see if we get it done in one or we have to use all three. But Mathis and Booth, the front row, and Napier and DeFries, new players up here. Jason Spear, Cole Ansley. A lot of names we haven't really been talking about today are now right in the mix. And if something happens amongst the top two, it could be a free-for-all behind them.
So let's recap who we have. We have Chris Mathis restarting first. Hayes Booth up there with him. Those have been the best two cars of the ones that we have left. But Jeff Napier, Alan DeFries, they've shown glimpses of brilliance as well. Jason Spear, he's going a little bit down on power, I think. Cole Ainsley, he should be okay, but he's got a little bit of damage himself. The 32 of Boraquez, he's been in a couple of incidents as well as Will Hewitt. This is going to be an all-out free-for-all with the cars that we have left. Looks like 11 coming to this restart. And Chris Mathis will take us to the green flag. 2 laps to go. It's green-white checkered, bit of a stack up there as well.
What a start from Mathis. I think that was some restart games that got the best of Hayes Booth in the field. And double wide behind Mathis. We'll see Napier. Can he clear to second? And Ansley trying to follow him up to get clear to third. Hayes Booth fights hard back on the outside.
I'd imagine this should be our only green-white checkered attempt because we only have so few cars left. It's really just this battle just inside the top 5. Chris Mathis going to exit turn 4 and take the white flag.
Now I wonder, he's so far out there, if they've been talking about it like it's a plate track, can they reel him back in, or is it too little too late? It was 0.3 of a second that time by the start-finish line. It actually opened up the 4. Hayes Booth around the outside. Napier, he's going to maybe slot into third. Here comes DeFries. He wants a podium.
Alan DeFries squeezes by Jeff Napier into turn 3, and he's going to take that spot. Out of turn number 4, Chris Mathis, the best all season, going to be the first one to 2 race wins at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Hayes Booth second, Alan DeFries in third. It's Jeff Napier, then Cole Ainsley rounding out your top 5. What a season this 18 is putting together.
Oh, Boraquez wrecked out of turn 4, the second time he's wrecked out of 4 today. Not quite sure what happened. But, maybe just in a hard battle. Yep, here it is. Him and Jason Spear. And, it's a big hit.
That's tough hit as well. I mean, he made the mistake, and Jason was just kind of there. Man, that's really tough for John. He's going to drop to, it looks like, 9th position. Still a top 10. Which is really not that bad of a day when you get down to it. But Chris Mathis, what a day for him. He's going to go back-to-back from Indianapolis to Las Vegas. Almost had Atlanta in there as well, and he was great at Daytona. It's been all this number 18 cars so far.
I mean, what a day. He's been up there all day, and he was up there, well, all day. But when it mattered most, there at the end, he had an amazing restart. Maybe some restart games, but that's all part of it. That's all part of racing in NASCAR is the restarts. Well, I guess any motorsport is timing the restarts to best suit you. And how about him burning it down on the front stretch? It's Miller time, it says on the side of that car. I think after this win, it might just be.
It has been all season for him because even when he hasn't won, it's been one of those days where it's just, you got to cap it off in some way, right? But, man, Chris Mathis, a second now big win here coming at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We'll step away. We'll be right back to y'all here very, very shortly at PitStop TV. Do not go anywhere. We've got post-race coverage just on the other side of this very short break.
We're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
Sound art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it sound art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
We welcome you back to Las Vegas Motor Speedway, where we just saw Chris Mathis get his second win on the very young third season of the Superior Class Auto Racing Cup Series. 4 races in, he's been a big factor in all 4 of them. Emerson, go ahead and bring in our first place finisher from Las Vegas.
Are you thinking? Or are you thinking?
Man, I'm just thinking, don't break traction and don't hit nobody.
Wow. I mean, Hamilton to your inside and Jones to your outside. What could you see from the wreck that I guess transpired all around you?
Well, going down the back stretch, I had to block a run that Bobby had, and as soon as he got to my bumper, he pushed me up. I had a huge run going into 3. I got a little loose there, so I lost momentum. Wheel was able to come back up to the outside, and then going into 1, I don't blame Bobby for trying it. You know, he had to dive down on the inside, and I can't tell if I came up the wheel, if Wheel went to turn into the corner. I don't know. I know it was 3 wide, and I seen Bobby spinning down to the inside, and I looked in the rear view, and it was just chaos.
The ensuing restart, it's you, Hayes Booth, and a bunch of people you really hadn't raced too much today. What was going through your mind to get away clean on that restart that you eventually did get away clean, and how'd you do that?
I just figured I'd wait till the last possible second, try to take off and get a big enough jump with a green-white checkered. Maybe I could jump out far enough where they couldn't reel me back in.
Right on. So we asked you when you won stage 2 what the plan was in stage 3. If y'all went green, could you make it to the end? Were you considering coming into pit at all, or was it a made bed you were going to the end on that set of tires?
Yeah, I was going to stretch it out to the end. My right rear was shot. I lost the lead, and Wheel was pretty much checked out, and there was a couple times I had a big save, and thankfully nobody ran me over from behind. But my bags were packed, and I was going to try to finish third on that one.
Right on. Well, it turned out to be a couple spots better. You have anybody to thank for your amazing race win here at Las Vegas?
Man, to be honest, it's just like any other time. I mean, I want to thank y'all guys for broadcasting. You know, Bobby and David and Will and everybody else around here that races in the SCAR Racing League. I mean, everybody's getting better and better and better. It's tight racing.
Right on. Well, congratulations on your second win on the season, and best of luck to you when we head to Watkins Glen.
Yeah, I won't be at Watkins Glen. That's the bummer. I'm gonna try to go out to Hawaii and enjoy my Vegas win.
Well, then you do that. Enjoy it. You deserve it.
But y'all take it easy.
And that was race winner driver number 18, Chris Mathis. Andrew is standing by with second place finisher, Hayes Booth.
And Hayes had an up and down evening, but eventually the driver of the number 2 finds himself right back in P number 2. Roller coaster, I think it's the better way to put it here, Hayes. But you come back after winning stage number 1. You only led 5 laps this evening, but the 2 car was strong all night long.
Yeah, it definitely was. I'd say this is one of the best runs I've had. I tried to practice more with tire management in this race, and it really seemed to work out. Usually about 15, I'd say around 15, 20 laps into a run, I would just fall off because I can't save my tires. And throughout the runs, I was able to stay up there with the leaders. Definitely lucked out with that big wreck with Bobby and all them. Went to the bottom, kind of Tokyo drifted my way through that a little bit, and that was really what was able to put me up to P2. Congrats to Chris on the win. He's without a doubt been the best one so far this season. Yeah, this feels really good, and this is my best finish so far in the league, so I'm super happy about it. Definitely a good points night too.
Yeah, Hayes, we've seen increasingly better runs from you in that number 2 car, but just nothing to really cap off a great day. Tonight, here at Las Vegas, you do just that, notching that second place finish. You've been moving up slowly through the points rankings, and you're finally, I believe you cracked up into the top 5. I'll double check on that. No, I think you are, my bad, 10 points out of it, but certainly with Bobby Hamilton Jr. and Thomas McMullen having that big wreck out of turn 2, we'll get to that in a moment, it's got to feel pretty good going into Watkins Glen in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, it definitely does. This is a really big confidence booster as well. Already off to a much better start than I was last season. Last season I was struggling to get top 10s. So far, back-to-back top 5s. This definitely feels good. Watkins Glen, I'm not really sure how to feel. I'm not too good on road courses right now, but I'm going to do a lot of practice, and hopefully we can have this kind of speed there.
Well, let's get back to that big wreck out of turn 2. How did you somehow miss all of that, and what happened from your perspective?
Well, I lost my breath for a second. All I saw was, Bobby got sideways, and I thought, oh my gosh, there's no way I'm missing this. Then I got sideways, went on the apron, and really all that happened was I kind of hit Bobby, and it forced him to come back up the racetrack. I kind of lucked out there, but I was struggling to breathe after that. I really thought I was going to get involved, but I really don't know how I missed it, to be honest. I just kind of stayed in the gas, hooked right, trying to save it, and made it work.
And work it did. Hayes is a great second place finish. I'm sure we'll be talking to you more this season. Again, you have been making your way up the field a whole lot lately. Who do you have to thank? Who do you have to shout out this evening?
Well, I want to thank David and all the admins for running this league. It's been a blast ever since I joined. I really enjoy racing in this league. Want to thank you guys at PitStop TV for broadcasting these races every week. You guys do great over there. Want to thank iRacing for this whole community is great. The fact that we're even able to do this in the first place is really awesome. So this is really great, man. Really great community that we have. So we'll see what we can do next week, and should be fun.
Absolutely. And hey, Hayes, I'll see you Tuesday as well there for FTRL. Best luck to you there.
All right, yeah, see you, man.
And that's Hayes Booth, and I'll get to race him myself here in a couple of nights' time. But he's come onto the scene recently, and he's pretty darn quick. I'm looking forward to seeing where he goes just in general here in iRacing. But we have somebody else to talk to also in a Ford Mustang, an all Ford top 3. Emerson, you've got Alan DeFries.
Alan DeFries, P3 for you. How does it feel, man?
Oh, it feels pretty good. It was kind of a long night, so it felt good to come out there with a 3rd place finish.
Right on. We saw glimmers of you towards the middle of the race. So you started 11th. How was it working your way forward before that whole big crash happened and everything? Before all that, just how was it in the pack and how was it working forward?
It wasn't too bad. I mean, I kind of started off a little conservative, just kind of running, trying to log some laps and not get too loose. I kind of started working my way up through the middle of the race and got racing with Colt there a little bit, and he got a little loose and got me loose and gave me a little damage, so kind of put me in the back. So I kind of resolved myself to the fact that I wasn't going to finish very good because it put me behind, but that big wreck that happened right there at the end, 9 times out of 10 I get caught up in something like that and it ruins my night, but luckily got through and got to 3rd place.
I was just about to ask, how did you do that? We watched the replay of you making it through that, and wow, spectacular.
Yeah, it was just all pure luck. I mean, I saw Bobby kind of coming down, and I just yanked the wheel left and hoped. And I actually thought I got him, but I didn't see any incident points come up. So thought, well, we'll see how it goes.
All right, coming to the final restart, from where you're lined up, what was the game plan, and did it pay out for you?
Well, I really just wanted to kind of shove Hayes there a little bit, and I don't know, I guess caught me sleeping a little bit, or caught us both sleeping actually, because Jeff and Jason, they got pretty good restart on there. Of course, Chris, he was off like a rocket, so I got a little bottled up there for that first lap, and just was able to get around Jeff and Jason right there at that last lap.
Right on. Well, it's 3rd place for you tonight. Who do you have to thank for your strong run here at Vegas?
I'll just thank the guys in the league. We have a good time, a lot of fun, so it's a lot of fun racing with these guys, and thank you guys up in the booth.
Right on. Thank you very much. 3rd place for you. Congratulations on that, and best of luck to you in 2 weeks' time when we head to Watkins Glen.
All right, thank you. See you guys.
And that was Alan DeFries, our 3rd place finisher driver, number 71 Ford Mustang. And Andrew, what do you got for us?
Man, that was just an insane race all night long. I mean, we came in talking about the fact that the Roval this past weekend, I mean, they finished that up just 5-6 hours ago. That put on great racing, hectic racing all night long. This did the exact same thing here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Just a great race. These guys were side by side every single lap somewhere on this racetrack, and more so than usual as well. I mean, these NASCAR Cup cars, these Chevrolet Camaros, ZL1, 1LEs, the Ford Mustangs, the Toyota Camrys, somehow they can just run like this for lap after lap after lap. I mean, obviously the aero package is what's doing it, but it just doesn't seem to work the same way in real life. Then we come on here on iRacing.com and we have these fixed setup races, and they are just all over one another, and it makes for some exciting stuff. Like I said earlier, I think akin to the late 90s, early 2000s iRock races.
Yeah. Do we have some results to go over tonight?
Well, we do, Emerson, and of course, Chris Mathis, we talked to him, winning this thing here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, making it now back-to-back, and incredible stuff out of him, and putting together one of the better seasons that we've seen here on PitStop TV so far. I've seen nothing like it so far. Hayes Booth, he does continue his climb up the standings race after race. He finishes second place, much like his number. Alan DeFries rounds out the podium. Jeff Napier in fourth position. Cole Ainsley, fifth. It's Jason Spear, one of the newcomers, in sixth spot. David Bradford recovers to seventh despite not having a front end there at the end. Will Hewitt, he was also involved in that big wreck. He finishes seventh. Both of those guys look like they could have won this race. John Boraquez, actually, unfortunate circumstances there at the end and even the start, but all things considered, a decent finish overall, ninth spot. And Mickey Spear, despite blowing an engine there on that last caution, in 10th.
We fall back to the second half of the results page, and it's a lot of wrecked race cars. Bobby Hamilton Jr. with the insane dive into turn 1 didn't end up paying out. He'll get P11. Will Jones will come home 12 after also what a strong run from him. It sucks that he ends up 7 laps down. Mark Truxell ending up almost on his roof, or I think he did actually, 7 laps down. Justin Napier, 11 laps down. Fred Strawitch finishes P15, 12 down. Long Ian Spear will come home 16th, 13 down. We fall our way back to 17th position. Thomas McMullen will finish 24 laps down, and rounding out we'll have Vincent Short, Steve Murdoch, and Scott Warren after that. Leading early, what a heartbreak it was from after he got loose out of 2. It was on from there for him.
Really, again, an amazing race this evening from Las Vegas. A lot of different players getting themselves up into this match. I was trying to make some card puns there. I'm not even going to try anymore. But a lot of different drivers working their way up there throughout the evening. Comers and goers. And definitely the tires made a difference. The stages, I think, definitely made a difference. Broke this race up into interesting lengths and added to the drama this evening. Great stuff. And as usual here in the Superior Class Auto Racing Cup Series, just ends up being a thriller. Let's tell you about some of our partners here at PitStop TV. Of course, we usually lead off with Tucson Sound Art. We'll do just the same because your picture equals your music. You provide the image you want, and we will custom create a beautiful framed high-quality canvas with a built-in Bluetooth speaker. And with Sound Art, you get the best of both worlds. Visit TucsonSoundArt.com for additional information and use code PitStopTV for 10% off of your order today. Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine, they make a lot happen for us. And when it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy. Allow them to make a lot happen for you. As Ashley Bollinger, the owner, is a certified micropigmentation specialist who provides professional, safe, and personalized services. You can call or text them. There we go. 207-358-8683 or permanentmakeupinmaine.com, even on Facebook at Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine using the ampersand for the word and. Quite simply, if you've got any kind of makeup concerns, permanent makeup concerns that is, give them a call today. Speak with them and their team. They've got 3 locations up in the great state of Maine, in Auburn, Lewiston, and Harrison, and they will take care of you. Whiplash Media puts together all of our graphics, our camera packs, and everything else, and our new parent organization also specializes in other sim racing resources, including paint schemes, stream overlays, etc. Whiplash Media is even working on its presence in real racing, offering services like photography, social media management, and public relations. Go to whiplash-media.com for more information. And, of course, a special thank you to all of the SCAR partners. We've got Waffle House, First Horizon Bank, Whoppers, Zero Bar Candy Bar, Dr. Pepper, and 7-Up who make it happen for us for the Superior Class Auto Racing Cup Series. Some great people making things happen for the SCAR, also called SCAR, whatever it may be for you. But that concludes our coverage tonight of the Superior Class Auto Racing Cup Series at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We at PitStop TV thank you for tuning in and joining us for tonight's action, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. Be sure to join us again for 2 nights of action this week, including tomorrow night for the Northwest GT3 Challenge round number 4 at Autodromo Jose Carlos Pace. I hope I'm saying that somewhat correctly. I'm sure JP Costa will correct me just a little bit as we race in his homeland in Brazil. Interlagos is going to be a very, very fun night for those guys. The Bluegrass iRacing Series takes to the half mile, the paperclip at Martinsville Speedway. That will also be a ton of fun, beating, banging all night long. Be ready to see some tempers flare, some bumpers be given. It's going to be a great night for the Bluegrass iRacing Series. The Superior Class Auto Racing Cup Series rejoins us in 2 weeks' time at Watkins Glen International for Race 5 on the season. Make sure to follow us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/PitStop TV, on Twitter at PitStopTV_, on Twitch at www.twitch.tv/Pit_Stop_TV, and on YouTube at www.youtube.com/C/PitStopTV1. For all of us here at PitStop TV, I've got Emerson Arden with me in the booth. I've got Trey Shuttlesworth on social media and the rest of our team on various afternoons and evenings. Thank you for watching. I'm Major Cardinale IV, and we will see you next time.